nothing else.
All right, and here we have Complexity Ryan as the pink Protoss up here in the top right corner of iCCup. What was it, match point? I already forgot.
Yes.
Yes, iCCup match point, and GG LastShadow currently leading the series 2-0. He is the light blue Terran down in the bottom left corner, and the main feature of this map, I would say, is the bizarre natural that we have going on here, where you have these two little mineral fields that you can choose to mine out and open up your choke, but most players really just tend to build bunkers in the rest of it, or cannons or what have you, depending on the race, obviously. But other than that, drops are used quite a lot on this map because your main is so big and fat, and there's just no real way to defend the whole thing from a lot of drops.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Definitely very, very harassable, and there's definitely a lot to deal with. So having the map vision and having map control definitely plays a role in making sure that you're definitely prepared and able to deal with things. You can actually see LastShadow was scouting the edge of his base, worried about a proxy pylon, worried about some sort of early gateway pressure. Wouldn't expect a cannon rush. I have not seen a cannon rush in a very long time. I would like to see a cannon rush.
Well,
come on, Ryan, let's do it.
He's already a little late for cannon rushing, but that usually, I think, is reserved more for Zerg players because Terran can repair, and it's just a lot harder.
Off.
Yeah, and
yeah,
lift
no,
off.
That was nothing but jokes, but still.
I mean, I would love to see it too, and if LastShadow was really caught super unaware, it could actually screw up his entire plans for this game too. But this being the last game potentially for Ryan, he really needs a win. He might just want to fall back on Void Rays, or maybe not. But
yeah, that's quite an interesting fallback for safe play. I would actually, in all honesty, I would really like to see him go for possibly that 3-gate expand. I could see that being quite effective on this map. Again, with those mineral patches, making those force fields a little bit more effective at protecting that expansion. But just kind of going for kind of a relatively safe, macro-friendly build. Definitely wouldn't be the worst of ideas for Ryan. But like you said, this could potentially be the last game for him. So he's definitely, I'm sure his mind is racing with things and trying to figure out what is the best for him to do in this situation. And it looks like pretty standard fare. We don't see that second early assimilator as we did last game when he was trying to go for that fast DT. We do see that gas still going down though, and again trying to pigeonhole LastShadow hasn't been quite that effective. But actually, what the heck was that? Is that SCVs pull off the line for a moment? That was unfortunate.
Little miscontrol there, but no big deal really. And LastShadow was just about to build a barracks next to his other one, but saw that the probe was about to scoot out, so he actually backed up about 3 feet and built it just out of vision, so Ryan actually did not see that barracks going up. Interesting, but I don't think it's actually going to be that much of a Jedi mind trick since LastShadow has built multiple barracks every single game, at least in these grand finals.
Absolutely, absolutely. Again, we do see that reactor coming out, so going to be relying on that marine-heavy build. Still just on the one gas. He actually pulled guys off the gas for a while. I think that Expo's coming right about now. We can see floating quite a bit of resources, and there we go. Did see an SCV pulling on out, and the command center actually being dropped inside of his main, and then going to be lifting that off at a later date. Taking a look back inside of Ryan's base, we do have a second gateway coming out, and that warp gate research about halfway through. So still really no idea as to what he may decide to go for here.
Well, that third gate is going down just as you finished your sentence, so probably an expansion build. One thing that he can do to sort of mix it up a little bit and maybe actually survive LastShadow's mass bio push, which is bound to be coming around the 8 or 9 minute mark. If he drops a forge as his next building and actually gets +1 armor, his zealots and stalkers and sentries will last so much longer against those weak little marines with guardian shield and +1 armor. It takes them a really long time to kill those gateway units, so I'd love to see if the game does unfold that way for him to drop a forge somewhere, but you know, sometimes they don't think of it, and this actually would be a good map to do it because he could drop a pylon next to these little tiny mineral patches, drop a forge, drop a pylon, drop 2 cannons, and be basically totally protected there at his natural.
Yeah, and we do see here Ryan may actually be considering some relatively early aggression. He does have that proxy pylon. I really like that position as well because it is out of the main walking path of LastShadow's units there. We can also see LastShadow coming out with 2 bunkers, so preparing to deal with this possibility. And yeah, it looks like we're going to be seeing a slight push here from Ryan, trying to be a little bit aggressive early on, trying to do a little bit of damage. There is that expected expansion there from Ryan. So again, we are seeing that 3-gate expand with a little bit of aggression here.
We'll see how this actually fares since LastShadow walked an SCV right into that force of Ryan, so he knows all about it. Notice how he keeps building sentries to potentially get that mass force field off on these bunkers, but it looks like he might actually peg a couple of SCVs that were just out of place for some reason. But either way, it just doesn't look to be enough units right now to be able to do much damage at all. If I were Ryan, I think I would back way up.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Getting actually caught from the high ground there. He does have vision, though, because that one stalker slightly up the ramp did manage to kill a few of those units. That last bunker has finished, though, and with that Marauder in there, I think that's going to be enough to push him back, especially considering there's 2 more bunkers up there as well. I think now that there are 3 bunkers up, he's going to be pretty hard-pressed to push into that.
Yeah, and we're back on 6-gate territory now for Ryan, now that this second Nexus is complete. We did see this in Game 1 on Brexis. Was that the name of it?
Something like
these
that.
These iCCup maps are throwing me for a loop, but either way, we did see the same sort of strategy out of Ryan, and it had to be somewhat tilting for him, too, to be in such a great position in that first game, and then have LastShadow pull his LastShadow antics and lift everything off, run away, research Cloak, and kill both of your Nexuses with 4 Marauders. Like, it's got to be affecting him, and he really wants to do it right this time around.
Yeah, it's going to be much harder to do that floating away tactic on this map. Not a lot of airspace to move around your units. There's just not a lot of space around the map in general. I think the 6-gate's definitely going to be much, much more effective. Now, we can see, taking a look inside of LastShadow's base, still just sitting on those 2 racks. So he's actually up against the same position he was in that first game. Just having 2 racks worth of bio units up against a 6-gate isn't the best of things. Factory just about to finish, so I'm going to expect that starport to come out as well. And this could be a problem for LastShadow because, again, dealing with this 6-gate pressure is going to be hard with just 2 racks worth of units.
Yeah, and he's also getting yet another engineering bay. We've seen that out of him every game so far. I'm not sure what, actually double engineering bay this time around. Not sure when he's going to be able to afford that. Right now, all he needs is more units. He's throwing up another bunker there and actually mining out those little mineral fields. But here we go, force fields going down, trying to surround all of those bunkers. LastShadow may have even wanted to predict that that was going to happen and let those out. But right now, the army value still favoring Ryan just a slight amount as this sort of unfolds here. He's going to kill off the last of these bunkers in the front line and continue to move in with some great force fields. Yet again, a lot of SCVs getting pinned there, so even if Ryan does not kill him with this attack, he will have done quite a lot of economic damage. If you look at the harvester count now, it's only 23 for LastShadow, 32 for Ryan, so he needs to really, really keep this up and potentially win the game here now that LastShadow's Marauders are down into only a 4 count here. I think he is going to be able to take this game.
Yeah, it looks like that is in fact the game. If we take a look at the units lost tab with Control R, we can see 22 workers killed, and there is the GG from LastShadow. So pulling himself back into the game here. You can hear the crowds going wild.
Yay, Ryan.